prevents anybody that's not worthy from lifting it. And usually the only person that's considered worthy is Thor. But did you know that there are other people who have lifted his hammer? Here are 12 characters who have lifted the mighty hammer Mjolnir. Beta Ray Bill. Now Beta Ray Bill is the cyborg champion of the Corbinites and became the protector of his planet after it was destroyed by Asgardian demons. Bill eventually encountered Thor, and in typical comic book fashion, they had a battle. During the fight, Mjolnir got away from Thor, and it was discovered that Beta Ray Bill could pick it up. There wasn't any trickery, it was simply because Bill was worthy and wanted to use the weapon to protect his people. Odin recognized this and created a new hammer for Bill called Stormbreaker that he could wield himself. Thunderstrike. Eric Masterson was just a normal construction worker when he came into contact with Thor. He was collateral damage between the God of Thunder and Mongoose, but Odin realized Masterson's intrinsic decency, so he saved Eric by merging Thor and Eric into the same person. Eric functioned as Thor's civilian counterpart for a while, and this is how he's able to lift Mjolnir. Thor and Eric were eventually separated, and Odin forged a new weapon for Eric, a hammer called Thunderstrike. Rogue. The Marvel What If series explores storylines that differ from accepted canon, diverging at important moments and creating an alternate reality. So on Earth 616, the Earth that is featured in the Marvel comics, Rogue and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants attack the Avengers and Rogue steals Miss Marvel's powers. However, in this What If story, Rogue steals the powers of Thor, killing him in the process. She is able to pick up Mjolnir afterwards. However, it is assumed that she was able to absorb enough of Thor's worthiness that the hammer recognized her as Thor. Loki attempts to manipulate Rogue into conquering Asgard, but the spirit of Thor came to her and convinced her to honor her new position as the goddess of thunder and do some good. Awesome Android. Now the Awesome Android is a robot created by an evil inventor known as the Mad Thinker. Awesome Andy is able to absorb abilities and talents of others to become more powerful, which allowed him to absorb the specific quality that makes Thor worthy to lift Mjolnir. Because of this, the android could lift Mjolnir as well, which was actually the event that caused Andy to rebel against his master and seek justice and independence. Wonder Woman. In the 90s, there was a short series of comics that pitted two legendary Marvel and DC characters against one another. Wonder Woman's fight was against Storm, but right before the fight, she stumbled across Mjolnir, which Thor had lost in the fight of his own. She picked up the hammer and felt a large surge of power that would have easily let her beat Storm, but she abandoned Mjolnir because she saw no honor in the victory. Wonder Woman should have held on to it though, because Storm eventually won the battle. Conan the Barbarian. In another What If story, Thor encountered Conan the Barbarian and the two became quick friends. Mjolnir is lost on their adventures, and Thor sets out to find it. The hammer is first found by villain Tooth Amon though, and during the ensuing battle, both Thor and the villain are fatally wounded. Before Thor dies though, he entrusts his hammer to Conan, allowing him to the powers of a god. Conan's worthiness has remained in question, and it seems that Thor's approval might be enough to lift Mjolnir. Storm. So Loki had created the powerful hammer called Stormcaster that he gave to Storm as part of his continued attempt to rule Asgard. The hammer gave Storm immense power and Thor came to stop her. Instead of harming him though, Storm was able to take Mjolnir and destroy Stormcaster, refusing to be a part of Loki's schemes. So not only was Storm able to wield Mjolnir, she also gave the hammer up, proving her worthiness even more. Jane Foster. Most recently, the title of Thor has been passed on to Jane Foster, Thor's on-again, off-again love interest. While at first Odin's son attempts to take the hammer back, he realizes the abilities of Jane and gives her his blessing to continue on as Thor. Black Widow. In a What If storyline, Ragnarok, the Asgardian apocalypse, took the lives of all superpowered beings, including Thor. This is a problem when the frost giants attack, and everyone is getting overwhelmed, so they send Natasha off to retrieve the hammer. She's able to lift Mjolnir. No tricks, no loopholes. She is simply worthy of the hammer at the time. Captain America. It's really no surprise that Cap is worthy of Mjolnir, and he's been able to lift the hammer twice now. Both times involved the Avengers facing great danger and knocked Thor out of commission. The first time, Cap was able to pick up the hammer and return it to Thor, and the second time involved Steve picking up the hammer and leading the Avengers against the enemy, the Serpent. Loki. After countless attempts, Loki was finally able to achieve his goal and possess the power of Thor. During an event called the Inversion, Loki became the god of heroism and truth, and he became an avenger while Thor becomes a villain. Loki finally becomes worthy of Mjolnir, which he reaches for during a battle with Thor. However, the inversion spell ends during the battle, causing Loki to become unworthy once again. Superman. So DC and Marvel created a JLA Avengers crossover, where Superman was able to get his hands on Mjolnir and Captain America's shield. Superman was able to pick up the hammer once in order to deliver an important blow to the enemy, but later in the series he wasn't able to pick it up again. Thor said that at desperate times, Odin would allow some people to lift the hammer even if they weren't worthy at all times. It was thought that Deadpool had lifted the mighty hammer Mjolnir, but it was actually a simple spell cast by Loki. And there's also been times where characters have been able to find loopholes in the worthiness enchantment. Magneto has been able to manipulate the air around Mjolnir, giving the impression that he was lifting it, but he wasn't actually lifting it and didn't gain the powers of Thor. Hulk has been able to use the hammer while Thor is still holding on to it, and Red Hulk has done the same thing. Red Hulk has also used the hammer in space, where the combination of his strength and the lack of gravity allowed him to use the hammer but didn't gain the abilities with Thor. So what allows these characters to lift Mjolnir? Well, most of them lifted it because they had the powers of Thor, bonded with Thor, or given permission by Thor or Odin. So that eliminates Thunderstrike, Rogue, Awesome Android, Conan, Loki, and Superman. Now we have Beta Ray Bill, Wonder Woman, Storm, Jane Foster, Black Widow, Captain America, and Thor himself as being worthy to lift a hammer. First off, let's discuss Jane Foster, because she seems to be the oddball out in this conversation. So Odin is the one who determines worthiness and lifts the enchantment. My theory is that people who are really worthy can lift the hammer, and Odin can also make alterations to the enchantment so that people he likes can lift the hammer as well, like Superman and quite possibly Jane. Notice how the enchantment changes when Jane lifts the hammer, because this might be because of Odin's alteration to the enchantment. So now we have Thor, Wonder Woman, Captain America, Black Widow, Beta Ray Bill, and Storm. What's the similarities between all these characters? Thor, Cap, Bill, Storm, and Wonder Woman all live a warrior-soldier lifestyle. Think of others before themselves, are honorable and humble, are very strong. Cap becomes much stronger compared to his former self, hold a place of nobility or power. Steve is a captain and a super soldier, and are willing to kill. Now Black Widow doesn't hold a place of nobility, but she does live a warrior lifestyle, think of others, and is honorable, humble, and willing to kill. In the end though, Odin is the one who determines someone's worthiness, and he is the final say in who can lift Mjolnir or not.